leaving our down left in the dust. Learn the hard way who we can trust. Every scar's another chapter, every bruise another win. Life tried to break us, now we're breaking in. We ain't here pretending we got it all figured out. We're just two best friends gonna drown out the doubt. Speaking from the heart, saying what we believe. If the truth starts shaking things, roll up your sleeves. We're not backing down, we're not standing still. When the world gets loud, we're louder still. Raise them up, let your voice be heard, stand your ground. Every single word, truth runs deep and love runs strong. If you've been searching, you belong. Bring your battles, bring your fire, bring.
Hello, everybody. My internet went down in the middle of the intro. Good evening. Hello, governors. Shannon hasn't answered my text yet. She thought she was going to be done by 9 o'clock. So hopefully she'll be here in a couple of minutes. We will just run through some top of the mornings to you, current events. Hopefully Shannon will be along in a minute. Oh, now I'm hearing myself because I was trying to get on my phone. Yeah, the internet here is not stable at all. Hasn't been that way in a couple of days. I got a local phone company coming out tomorrow to see what's going on. But yeah, we got a pretty deep rabbit hole tonight, and I don't even want to get started without Shannon because it'll take both of us to explain this. We were, each of us has our own little area where we get dug down into things, and you collect all these puzzle pieces, and all of a sudden last night it was one of those nights when a lot of things come together. And it's been an exciting day. We've been on this trail for about 14 hours now. Spreadsheets were made. We've looked down all kind of avenues with this topic about this Mount Tambora. I wish she would answer me back. She's not answering, guys. She had a late customer today doing hair, and I'm assuming it must be running much longer than she thought. Good evening, everybody. I see Daniel in the room. Big E, Diane, Christopher. Who else we got in here? The others will be along shortly. Miss K. Miss K been in here since early, her and Big E. Anybody else in here that I missed so far? I'm sure there'll be others in along shortly. While we're waiting on Shannon, Daniel, your message a while ago was received. I was watching, I'm not a Jim Brewer person. I don't know, it's just something about him rubs me the wrong way. Maybe because he used to be in sports, and my ex-husband, so he ever watched sports and ESPN. But anyway, like the whole Joe Fells thing, and Jim Brewer's kind of like saying a lot of things out loud, and Twitter was all in a flurry last night about something that Mr. T had posted on his True Social that contained the EBS signal. I haven't even been and looked at Ingersoll Lockwood. We can do that while we wait on Shannon. Let's see. Shannon, if you're listening. Hey, Diana. Let's see if there's anything new on the homepage. No, we still got the Hanabu craft with the Canadian flag. It looks like it's on fire. I don't see anything changed there. But evidently Twitter was ablaze last night with all kind of political stuff, and we all know there's a lot of diversion. But Daniel's message resonated well. There are a lot of these people that are, and I mean, I say it a lot too, like we're not pissed off enough about the things that are going on, but that doesn't mean we need to get physical with anything. This means we need to get spiritual with it. We got to pray. We know that we are in the middle of spiritual warfare, good versus evil. And the more they divide us, like Tuesday night show, the 99 and the 1, if you've only got 1% that's in control of 99% of us, why haven't we, said something about it before? Because they keep us divided, red and blue, left and right, up and down, white and black and brown, every color, every race, every creed, every religion. They pit us all against each other because if we're fighting amongst ourselves, we can't pay attention to what's being done. But there are a lot of people out there who have been paying attention in the 99%. And that percentage is, Daniel, you got me confused now. That percentage is so subdivided in every subculture of events, hey, Super Dave, that it's tearing us apart. Like, you go back and we talk about television and we talk about all this programming. They've been doing it since the beginning of time, manipulating. And that's what evil does. It's a manipulator, a deceiver, a liar. The devil don't like to be called a liar. And he don't like the name of Jesus. So if you'll watch them two things, it'll help you discern a lot of who's who. Um, don't get physical. That's what they want. We need to be spiritual. We need to be praying more than ever. When you're standing alone in the morning or in the evening or whatever, when you're washing your dishes, just hum and pray. Humming is good for the pineal gland, and so is sneezing. The internal vibration helps your pineal gland open up, and humming also creates nitrous oxide in your nose, which is good for the function of your body. It really is. It's one of the biggest ways to do it. But pray a lot. The more we pray, the louder we get, the less they like it. And we all know that they're fixing to come out with some thing about little green men. But all these little green men, there might be little green men, might be gray men, might be blue men, but they're all demons. I don't care what kind of skin suit they put on. They're all demons. They have been since the beginning. There were strategic reasons that the King James Version of the Bible that you was handed as a child or whatever version you read was missing many books. It's okay, if you've got the Ethiopian Bible, like the other day I was reading this, it's called the Book of Baruch. It is part of the letter of Jeremiah that was edited out. And it's more so explaining the miracle of an eagle that was sent as a messenger. But there's so much that they took out, and they did it all on purpose. If you didn't believe that supernatural things were possible, then you would all believe it was something else. It's just like the whole dinosaur and dragon thing. Go get a chicken. You know, like you're going to barbecue a whole chicken on a grill and how you stand him up and you put the beer can up his butt. Stand him up that way and look at him and them wings. And then go look at a T-Rex skeleton and tell me what you see. Go look at an ostrich and tell me what you see. Them nubs out the front, them is not arms. Them is wings. Them is the cartilage that goes in the feathers. You got an 1888 copy? That was one of the things that I think Joe Fales had come across recently was possibly a Masonic Bible from 150 AD and was in the process of scanning it in. And the website where he had scanned all these books in had not gone live yet. Now, rest in peace, Joe. I think he was trying to do a good thing with all of that, and maybe someday we'll actually get to see it, but we don't know what happened. But if you get your hands on any old books of any scientific or historical or religious, I don't care what it is, if it's old, if it's important, put it up. The more physical history books we have of proof of what was written back then before it was edited or erased for future generations, those relics will be valuable. Because think about how many of these books we don't have now that have been hidden from us or destroyed, that would have explained a lot of these truths that we have all discovered in this awakening. And if you don't have an Ethiopian and you don't have access to the Book of Enoch, please go find a good YouTuber or one of those things where it will read it out loud. There's actually some of them, if you put it in, you know, just put in Enoch, Book of Enoch, Ethiopian Bible, you'll come up with some. Yeah, they're chopping up books. Oh, that's what King James did. Like, he didn't write the Bible. Why is it the King James version? He weren't special. The Bible was there long before he was, because he needed to translate it for control. And if you go and, like Joe was showing on one of his videos, hang on, Shanna's texting. She's wanting to go get her a Diet Coke right quick. All right, she's coming, guys. About 10 minutes, she said. We'll kill a little time. She just finished. So she's going to get her a Diet Coke. He edited this book for control. Every time this book has been edited or translated or whatever, it was for control. When you translate a word and you change it just a little bit, it can have a completely different connotation between two different cultures. The one it was written in, or religion, or whatever language that it was written in, to what it was converted to. The word may not mean the same. It may not have the same verbiage. And sometimes they just completely deleted verses. I think it's, Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Matthew 21 that is not in the KJV? And if you go and look at it in the Ethiopian Bible and you read it, it tells you how to heal your body. It says to fast and pray. That's all you need to do to heal your body. Fast and pray. And if you think about it in the Bible, constantly people go into the wilderness or whatever, and they fast and they pray. And that's when clarity comes. Shannon's hustling. And I'm not trying to get on my Bible stand tonight. I just want to make sure that everybody's got a Bible in hand. Make sure you got a good one. Start reading. I think this is very important now, because if you're going to be on the airplane in the direction that it's going, you might want to be looking at the road map. You might want to figure a few things out, because we'll do a little testimony here. 2 years ago, I was an atheist. I guess that's kind of what I'd call myself. I didn't believe in anything. I'd been through a lot of crap in life, and I didn't know if I believed in anything. How could a God that loved us let children die of horrible diseases and be treated the way that's in those, files that came out? I didn't understand that. And my whole journey down this was Noah's flood. It is kind of one of the things I started on, that I wanted to prove that, did this massive flood happen in nature? And it just kind of went from there. And now it has almost become an obsession. Like, I'm constantly tying physical things on the rock that we live on to what's written in that book. And when you look at that book, I think it's 11,776 cross references between all of these books of the Bible that were written over a 15-year, 100 period by all these different people in all these different places, and they didn't have mass communication. But that book does not contradict itself. It does not. And it's got all of those cross references in it. It is the most accurate version of history that we will ever have. Nobody else could have written that. Nobody could have been behind that story other than perfection. Get the whole thing. Like, I had no idea, guys. And the more I tear into this Ethiopian Bible, the more my mind is blown. Like, if you really read we've heard, how many people have actually read the Bible, read the stories, and understood it? Like, there's some of those stories in there that'll blow your mind. And it's like, it's kind of like a soap opera. And if you start thinking of the Bible as a movie in your mind and you're seeing these people, it's kind of wild. It's like a soap opera that you're reading, because there's some uh there's some wild stuff in there. We got anybody new in the room tonight? I see we got 19 in here that I can see on this channel at the moment. Cash, are you in the room? I haven't seen you speak up. Shannon's hustling. Hustle, girl, hustle. Hustle, girl, hustle. She says, oh, she's trying. We were trying to be a little bit early because we thought this story might take a little longer to get out, because we don't usually start till 9:30. But this is good. We can get some of the BS out the way tonight. And I am here, guys. I'm behind this screen. But like I said, my internet's unstable. I turn that camera on, we might lose it all. Like, phone's not working right. Nothing in this house is working right. Phone company thinks it's some of their equipment. But we're going to see. Could be Chuck. He might be putting in overtime, because I've been putting in overtime. Yeah, this thing we ran into, it exploded in about 100 different directions. And I'll give you a little background. We told you it was Mount Tambora, but we have looked at this from, there's a date for this event. Shannon and I independently, and then got together this morning. We looked at everything preceding the 5 to 6 year, and out range prior to this event. What was the world like in all different cultures? We looked at Europe, we looked at Australia, Switzerland, Indonesia, Asian countries. We looked at agriculture, we looked at weather, we looked at technology, art, books, politics, wars, military. What kind of equipment was the military hunting? And part of that leads into, we know in the Bible that there were fallen angels that gave technology to man and laid with the daughters of women, and then Noah built a boat. And we think this may have happened a couple of times in civilization, just maybe not to that extreme. So we were looking at technology preceding this event, and all kind of different things. Like, what was the art looking like? Who was famous? What kind of books come out of this? Because there were some cataclysmic events that they didn't teach us about in high school. Yeah, they didn't teach us about this in high school. Chuck, my electrician, that's what we've named our observer, that probably works for one of those 3-letter agencies. Because see, we don't doubt, and it might even be one of those, Apple A, and then, if they've got eyeballs that does it all. I don't know. We don't care. She calls hers Broomhilda. I call mine Chuck. We just, we've got friendly with the idea that we're probably being listened to, or we know we're on list. Did you hear the intro? We're not going to shut up. We don't want to be quiet. We don't want to cause a kerfluffle. Like, we're not trying to, and we all got to come together, because I'm telling you, if this thing continues down this road, it could go many ways, and we're hoping for the absolute best possible outcome for the world. We are, but we're all seeing prophecies out of that book come true. And it's like day after day and week after week, and things just keep you like, yep, there it goes. Yep, okay, that's what it was. That makes sense. And you got to be reading the instruction manual. Like, it's the instruction manual. It tells you everything that's coming and everything that's happened and how it's been a repeated cycle. You got Noah, you got Sodom and Gomorrah, you got Tower of Babel. I mean, you got all kinds of things. And one of the big things that always seems to precede that is sexual depravity, genetic manipulation, and technology advances. Not all of that at the same time, but those are 3 markers that Shannon and I look for in major events. What predated it and what postdated it? Did all of a sudden, after whatever this event that happened, did we take a leap in technology or, something? And like I said, we're 100 years behind on what technology actually is and what we know about. We've seen the planes that can take you from coast to coast in under a minute and not hurt a human. So we got no idea what they've got technology wise because they've patented and hid that so well that it'll be a couple of generations down the road before they even see what we were working on today in them underground places. And this woman must have had to go to Kansas to get a Diet Coke, guys. Has anybody else been getting rain? We have been getting rain for days now, and good rain. And my pond actually has water in it again. My pond was just a mud puddle. I don't have a big pond, a little pond in the front yard that the owners used to use to water his greenhouse. Just a little pond. But it looks funny. We actually got water out there now instead of a mud puddle. But we needed the rain around here because it was dry. I was looking back through the comments. Who published your 88 copy, Biggie? Is it a KGV? I'd be curious about the Matthew 21 verse in that one. Yeah, we've had good rain. My my evening was a little stressful there for a while. I was cooking dinner, and you guys know that my daughter is a first responder, and I'm texting with her because she's about to get off, and I'm like, I cooked dinner for the kids. Do you want me to put you a plate up?" She's like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm just about to leave." She was coming off her shift. 6 minutes later, I get a text back. Nope. After a stolen car, gonna be late. So myself flipped over to her Life 360 to see where she was. And when I click on it, I see my child, who, yes, I know is a completely full grown adult and a mother. I don't care. She'll always be my baby girl. Was running 122 miles an hour going down the highway in a high speed chase. That's a lot as a mother. And I know her job is dangerous. I worry about it every day. So, anybody out there praying, pray for the safety of our first responders. The one out there is trying to help people and save people and make the world a better place. I know they're good and bad. Mine's a good one. I raised her. I know she is. She got into this to help people. But they take a big risk out there every day doing what they do. And it can be dangerous to even go to work in their profession. Um, to and from work can be dangerous for them. You'll find a picture. They just come flying by your house, Daniel. I haven't checked her to see where she was at. She had left a little earlier because I was watching her GPS. She's at the office. She's been at her office for a while. Yeah, that might have been her and all her buddies trying to get back to the office. You got to realize she was supposed to get off work 3.5 hours ago. And because somebody decided to steal a car in the neighborhood, it cost her 3.5 hours that she could have been home with her kids. And I mean, I know that's what she signed up for, and that's what a lot of people don't understand about first responders. They have horrible schedules. That's why we live together. And she's had cases that were not stolen cars. They were helping somebody, and she ends up working 3 or 4 hours over. She'll come home, she'll lay down, she'll go to sleep for 3 hours and get back up and go do it again. And she don't complain. She's doing what she loves. So where is this woman at? She's not answering me now. I don't know. Everything's been crazy. But yeah, everybody pray for, and make sure when you're praying, even pray for your enemies. All right, Biggie, I'll look that up. Do a little research on that because the 1800s are where we're at in time. Um, part of my theory was that I felt like there was some time that was missing or something wasn't accounted for because things just didn't add up. I hope Shanna's not going to pull out on us, because if she does, we'll have to continue this another day. It's a two-person conversation. She's typing something. She's almost there. But oh, sorry guys. Trying to reply to Shannon. She's hurrying. Where was I at? Pray for your enemies. If you pray for your enemy's soul and maybe they get saved, they won't be your enemy anymore, and then you'd have one less enemy. If you have a spouse or ex-spouse or your baby daddy or your baby mama or whatever you want to call it, pray for them. If you don't get along or they're not the right person, if they're not a good person for their children, pray for them, because a healed other parent makes your child's life better. Pray for everybody. Pray for your enemies, and make sure when you're in this forgiving business, that the phone's going off. Make sure you're praying hard and you're praying specific, and when you're forgiving yourself. Whatever it is you think you're toting, shame or guilt or whatever it is, childhood, early adulthood, divorce, whatever. If it's shame and guilt, you got to let it go. Shame and guilt are two of the major driving points behind a drug addiction and alcoholism. And it's self-shame, and it's self-doubt, and it's fear. And if you can forgive yourself for whatever caused this pain and ask Jesus to forgive you, you can get out of addiction. You can lay things down. Because when you start chasing God, that other stuff just don't mean nothing no more. What you talking about? I ain't got the time nor the money to waste on something that silly. I'd rather be spending my time talking to the big man. Yeah, the enemy needs the most saving, Daniel. I mean, we know where we going. We all working on that. You can't pray that well. You don't. Prayer is just a conversation, Miss Kay. You ain't. You don't have to. There's no specific words. You don't have to say them in order. Um, you just talk. Be grateful. I'm coming back, Big E. I'll be back in a second when I finish Miss K. Just talk to him, Miss K. Be grateful for when your brain is in a state of gratitude, it cannot be in a state of anxiety. So anytime you feel yourself getting anxious or worried about anything in life, the bills, your kids, your grandkids, whether the car is going to break down, whether you're going to be able to buy groceries this week. Because trust me, we all on the struggle bus. The struggle bus is running over my household hard around here. But we okay, because the big man's got us. He has failed to let me go without yet. We have struggled and we have been close, but he has failed to let me go without. And I am full of faith that I know he will help me provide. But when you're praying, just have a conversation. Be honest. Tell him what you need. Not with ego, not with pride, not with vanity. What do you need? Not what you want. What do you need? Do you need peace? Do you need stability? Tell him what you need. Just talk to him. I know you're quiet type, but I promise you, the more comfortable you get with talking with him, the louder your voice will become, and the more of a one-on-one personal conversation it will be with him. And this is for you too, Biggie. The more you talk, the more you conversate, the more you become comfortable. You know him. He knows you. Let it go. It's not like you're telling secrets. It's things he knows. He just needs you to talk about them, to confess them, to repent them, to tell him what you need and how you need it. And the 420 confronted you with demons, thousands of voices in my head. I'm sorry to hear that, Biggie. If you need to talk privately, you can reach out. You know how to get a hold of me on Discord privately. If you need to talk, we can talk. You need to pray, we can pray. We can do whatever you need to do. Just keep praying and don't stop praying. When things feel like they're spinning out of control, just start praying. Just ask Jesus to help you hold the floor still. Go outside, get barefooted, get grounded, lean up against a tree and pray. Connect yourself back to this earth. Ground your frequency. You know what to do. I know you know enough of what to do. Sometimes it's hard to find that direction when your head's spinning. But don't let demons get a hold of you. Call them liars and rebuke them. Oh, I'm hearing all kind of sirens out there around my house. Sometimes I feel like the world goes crazy over here because we're in the path of hospital. Ha ha! The Shannon is here. Hang on, I'll get you on. Hang on. Hey, boo boo,
Hey,
smile. We just been on here talking trash. We was oh,
that's okay. I just had a day. I really like.
we were talking about praying and prayer and that everybody needs to make sure they're reading their Bible and that we need to be in unity and not that we should be more pissed off, but we got to be more pissed off about the fact that they're constantly trying to divide us from each other and from the big man upstairs. But we've been on that for about 20 minutes. I thought you was going to be much quicker. My apologies. I was trying because we had a big crowd sitting out there waiting. But
It's okay. I had to push back today that I wasn't expecting. So my
that's
time
cool.
was.
We're on our normal time. We were just a few minutes early. Big E, like I said, you know how to get a hold of me in Discord. Don't ever hesitate to message me. I'll I'll sit and talk or pray or whatever we need to do. We're here. Um, all right, let's go ahead and Daniel's in the room. Miss K, Big E, Diana. I think I said Miss K. Uh, there's a few more in there. I think Christopher's in here. We got quite a few in here. All right, guys. Tonight's subject. Dun 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 dun. Shannon and I are so excited about this subject.
Yeah, I
Um,
know I don't seem like it right now, but you know what? Just before we start, just so you all know, I I don't have very many phobias in life. Um, there are things that we've gone through in MK and these programs that have, sometimes leave a long lasting impression. And I encountered one of my big, huge phobias today, like not expected, like in a really horrible way. And I'm still trying to deal with it. So I've been praying about it. So just bear with me today if I'm a little shaky.
well, I just tried to do a presentation, and this
Mm.
wonderful internet I've got is not working correctly. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a minute because
Everything has been working against us when we've been on this trail, even just with each other. So this is not
well, I called
surprising.
my internet company, and there's actually something wrong with my router. So they're sending somebody out here tomorrow to try to adjust it. They said that I may need another um different one. But anyway, our subject is Mount Tambora. This is a volcano which erupted in Indonesia. There's my girl. Hey, Annie, ain't heard from you lately. Clayton in the house. Anyway, Mount Tambora is in Indonesia. It was a volcano that erupted in 1815, which, normally is not a big deal. They erupted all through history. We heard about some of the big ones. You ain't heard about this one. Not unless you've been down this rabbit hole. You ain't heard about this one. But explain how massive this explosion was in 1815, Shannon.
Well, let's just give you a little tiny bit of a background here on volcanoes, which we've talked extensively. Daniel's talked extensively about how volcanoes really are what we believe the ancient tree stumps. And I also believe there is some scripture in the Apocrypha. I'm not sure exactly where, but I remember reading something about that some of these fallen angels could be bound in these. I mean, we've got the ones in the Euphrates, we got the ones in Antarctica. Well, there's of course Azazel in the desert, and then there are also angels in these tree stumps that were cast in there to be bound. Well, this monstrosity of a volcano slash tree stump was so tall. It was like I can't remember exactly how tall it is, but we're talking one of the more massive mountainous volcanoes there was on Earth. And it blew so intensely that it literally just cut off almost like half of this mountain. A good portion of
5,000
it went
foot.
in. It was like a massive blow. Now, what's wild about this, guys, is did any of you hear about this in school? We'd heard little bits about, the time frame in the, mid to late 1800s where there was recovery from some kind of freeze earlier there, but there's very little information. And we've all kind of been interested and curious in this whole Tartaria thing, and there's all this stuff that points to this time and period that something catastrophic happened, but there has been no explanation. The math was not mathing until we found out that this volcano blew so intensely that it affected the entire world for years,
Like,
changed the sky permanently.
change the actual. Hey, Super Sidewinder. Change the actual. Um. Hey, guys, I'm here.
You're here.
I'm here. This internet, I don't want to turn the camera on because it just like jams it for some reason. I can't even do a screen presentation. But this thing blew so massively that it is the largest ever recorded volcanic eruption, but you didn't learn about it in school. This sapsucker blacked the world out almost for years. We're talking, and I say global in a loose term, okay? I don't mean ball. I'm just saying airware. Airware. Airware got like loads of this ash rain. There was so much sulfuric acid ash in the air and so much water deluged everywhere. It was literally raining mud
It's raining mud. Oh,
everywhere.
it's
Everywhere.
raining mud. So, mud floods? Just saying. Because all this time, right? It's like, even Roxy was like, okay, maybe there was some nuclear blast. And I'm like, well, but then of course, there were all these fires that happened much later in the 1800s. But we're talking about what started this. And it's like, how the Holy Spirit works on you. It's like all of us are picking out all these little pieces of puzzles that the Holy Spirit's whispering into us, saying, look this up. And then we get on all these little trains, but we're really just holding these puzzle pieces for each other to eventually put together, because all the stuff that like literally Daniel and I were on Tartaria for a hot minute, and then Roxy got on Tartaria for a hot minute and brought me back, and then I'm like trying to figure out there's some kind of weird psyop here. I can't figure it out. What is it? Where did all this mud come from? What kind of catastrophe that why is it not written in history somewhere that we can like decipher or have some kind of clue? And it's this
And it
whole time.
this isn't an event that takes place on a Monday and everything's cool by Friday and everybody's back out at the tiki bar on the Indonesian island on Saturday having umbrella drinks in 1815.
No.
Like, this bad boy went kaboom. Okay, months later, on different continents, birds are marked as freezing to death mid-flight. There were such Arctic blasts of air that were coming into North America, New England, up in that area, and down toward Virginia, like the whole corner over there. There were Arctic blasts that come in and were freezing birds mid-flight. It comes in so fast. There was worldwide famine for a year and typhoid fever.
So the fact that the blast was so intense and the origin of this stump, I mean, okay, whatever you want to call it, this thing was so massively up in the atmosphere, up in the stratosphere, it blew so intensely up into the stratosphere with such force and I mean blasts of this sulfur dioxide that it then created what like steam water was all just congealed with it and it spread out like a gas, just spreading all around everywhere, creating an atmosphere that was different, changing everything. Did you know before this time, people could see the firmament with their naked eye? And I wanted to point out something that sulfur dioxide is used within nanotechnology in helping to spread and activate said nanotechnology. And we are aware of black goo and the sentientness that it is. I'm proposing out there. I know I might be getting out ahead of myself here. You guys might kind of know where I'm going here. But if there was a ton of black goo spread up in this, right, that just got just exponentially spread up into the
Injected.
stratosphere everywhere, and we have stories that have been written with people on their deathbeds talking about how the sky had changed completely. It never came back. Even the atmosphere, the air, everything was different. The color of the sky, everything was
Okay.
different.
Well, let's walk them down the trail of how we got some of this information. And I kind of give them a background
Yeah,
on
no, I
how we
was like getting
researched this
ahead of
morning.
myself.
Well, Shannon and I, when we started on this thing this morning, because we were on the same trail, but she did her research last night. I did mine this morning. We have a 3-hour time difference. So when she got up this morning, she had like 4 text messages going, girl, 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 because I
Yeah,
had been
you
down
woke
this
up
rabbit
to
hole.
50 videos on.
I did.
I'm like,
Okay.
what?
Shannon and I came up with a kind of a theory this time on the who, what, where, when, why, and how is how we did it. Like I said, we went and looked at art. We went and because you're talking 1815. So let's set the scene on what the world is like in 1815. They have just invented the steam locomotive right around this time. The first industrial revolution is happening. They've built a weaving loom that can be automated. It runs on steam. Um, what else was it? We had flintlock is the gun of the military at the time. Military vessels are still made out of wood most of them out of oak because it was called an Ironside because it. But I mean, this is I want to give you a scene of where the world's at this time, technology wise, people wise. There's no photography, so we had to go back to old art, old writings. So not only did we take this art, technology, poems, novels of each year and newspaper clippings of everything from like 1810, 1812, all the way to 1818 to see what changed. We even looked up crop prices. Put it this way, shortly, well, a year or so after this event takes place, there's worldwide famine. Mass amounts of the population are dead. The crops have died because in North America, there was no summer that year.
Right. And you know what's interesting too? Another thing that really just like pointed me in this direction of the sky and what effect this has done and what it's done to change things ever since is the folklore or the fable of Chicken Little. Now, I'm a nerd. I research so much stuff on mythology, fables, fairy tales, because there's always some kind of real origin to it. These aren't just like stories that were made up. There's always some truth and a storyline that they put in these things for children. And Chicken Little is one of those stories that we all grew up with. Disney was kind of obsessed with. Made two feature films. One was 8 minutes in the 40s. The other one was like a full length feature film in 2005. But this particular story of this little chicken that's apparently an acorn or a pea, depending on which, if you're going the Scottish or the Danish route in the story, falls from the sky. This chicken doesn't see it. It feels it and believes that the sky is falling, and then has to go on a mission to tell the king, and runs into all these friends who then, of course, all speak to the king before the chicken does. And of course, there's a moral to the story of something else. But what is this whole the sky is falling thing? Why is the sky falling? And why would you think if something just fell from a tree or something that that is the automatic thing, thought you have? Why the sky falling? So I just kind of try to look into it. Like, what's the deal with this story? Where did it come from? Where did it first ever get talked about? This story didn't come out until 1815, and it wasn't published until 1840. And the only other information you have on it is that there's a Danish oral tradition on it that starts about then and doesn't get published until several years later. And then there's a Scottish version that's very similar but slightly different. And that's about all you get. There is no anything about why this story was written and given to children. Not even an actual like moral compass. It's just a bunch of people stabbing in the dark going, well, we think it means this, you know?
Well, I found an Indonesian poem because that was one of the first cultures and locations because this volcano is located on an Indonesian island, which is right next to Australia. But and if my anyway, if this internet was working, I mean, like I got 12 tabs up there of stuff to show y'all. So maybe I'll just have to take screenshots and put them in community. But the size of this, which is now what they call a crater lake, the size of it, and you look down, because I went and looked down through other people's pictures that had posted it where they were hiking, the size of the debris rocks close to it. And this Indonesian poem, and I had to go and translate it because anyway, it talks about the sky went black, the water and ash that came from above was a mud flood, basically. Earth itself was breaking apart. All their crops died, and they had a year long, harshest winter they had ever known in their life. And this wasn't just in Indonesia, it was that bad. On multiple continents,
Yeah.
the crops died because they were either deluged with water or everything they owned froze. Like we're talking sci-fi movie kind of freezing
Mhm.
critters in air,
And
Arctic
weird
blast.
freak storms that has never seen storms in that
And
way.
like they didn't see sunlight or any they could see sunlight, but it was like this brown ashy haze that stayed above most continents for quite some time. And
And
if you
they're,
go
oh, sorry.
well, if you go back and you look at authors who were writing books at that time and you read those things, then you can start seeing in your mind's eye what they were seeing. And
Yeah.
this was a huge blast that affected the whole continent. There was no mass telecommunication or anything. How long is it before all these other countries didn't know what was going on? Like Europe and America, they're like, we don't know. Something just happened with the weather and all hell broke loose. I mean, it is what it is. But there's
Well,
no crops. So you can't feed the animals. So the animals die too.
also, too, it was the loudest boom sound in ever, like in all of recorded human history. People actually went deaf who were in like who were in survivor zones,
I can
but
tell. Hold on.
still
I wrote the kilometers of it down earlier. If they were within a 1,200-mile range of this thing when it went off, there was partial to total hearing loss in some people. Australia was basically flooded so bad that's why it looks barren. Uh,
the act was underwater. It was
yeah.
mud.
The ruse was swimming. They was swimming. They was not standing out by the bobby.
Right.
Switzerland, France, and Germany reported crop failure, famine due to extreme periods of ice rain. Europe was struggled one of the hardest with mass immigration from other countries because of crop failure and famine. Um, Australia was flooded.
Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, which was actually also called the New Prometheus during this 3-year period of like
Darkness, so to speak.
extreme darkness and everything. And what I find also very
Mhm.
interesting is the Book of Mormon is then created. This is when Joseph Smith moves to Utah during this time to migrate, and then it has the whole thing with the hat and the whole 9 yards, and the Book of Mormon is created during this time.
Almost every single culture that there's some kind of record of claimed that this was divine intervention from God. That they didn't question it because that's what they thought it was.
And
The
nobody
one
knew about a volcano except for
Yeah,
just
no, because they couldn't talk to other countries at that time, so to speak. Nobody put it all together. Um, but Russian records within 60 days of this event and the year after, there was no widespread famine. They were consolidating political influence. So, like, Russia was one of the least affected places. The bicycle was invented in Germany. You know why? Because all the horses died and they were tired of
yeah.
walking. That's how bad this was. Like, all the horses were dead or eaten at this point in Germany.
I mean, how many of you guys who have gone down the mud flood trains with Tartaria and everything, asking yourself, how? How did the world become muddy? What in the world could have happened? And why is there, for some reason, no written, recorded something that could give us a clue? Like this has just been erased. Like, why is there just not a ton of information about this period of time? Well, apparently there is. You just have to really search for it. But really, I mean, this has been boggling my mind forever. Where did this mud come from?
All
Now
right.
I
Well, think about the size of this explosion. and how many times they've warned us about what Yellowstone's going to be like if it goes off. If you
Right.
were trying to make a dang comparison, why didn't you tell us about this or point it out in history? Like, this is
Exactly.
the biggest ever. That's what Yellowstone would be. It would be that big or greater. And go to Google Earth, guys, and go to Mount Tambora. I'm sorry I can't show it tonight. I really wanted to show it. I spent a long time putting those photos together. Anyway, go on
Idiot.
there. Right in the middle of the crater, there's a couple of little points in there, and it's people who were hiking and pictures they took. You see this on when you're looking from above on the map and you see this crater, you think, well, gosh, that couldn't have done it. You know what I mean? No, it's perspective. Zoom in from ground level and look up at that monster and then realize how big that crater really is. And it lost 5,000 foot above it. It was a mountain with a 5,000 foot peak above what's still left, and it's gone.
Something that I find very intriguing. I
Do
had
tell.
come across, huh?
I said, do tell.
Oh, I had come across, these random videos, and I'm not a big fan of AI narrated videos. Most of the time, they're really grating to me, and I don't always want to listen to it. But something really caught me with this story about this woman on her deathbed who explained that the sky had changed. Like it was completely different, everything was different. And then it turns out that there were 200 other stories written in a pamphlet in the late 1800s talking about, like, each and every one of these people all said the same exact thing. They all had the same story of how they were not allowed to talk about it. It was like so hush hush. It was like you would be, I mean, I don't know, put to death or something. Like you didn't talk about it. I mean, the children who were saying things out loud were hushed by their parents immediately. Like, you can't talk about it. And I found that to be very strange, right? And I look into it, and then there is stories from the Native Americans that talk about how the sky had changed, and that this coyote god, this malicious coyote god, flung stars in different places and confusion and blah blah blah. And very similar expressions on the sky and you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
there are different indigenous cultures that have a very similar story of the sky changing. And this just brings us back to all of these Apple TV shows that we've been watching, especially like Silo and Severance and these things where it is showing you. I mean, in Severance, right? They're constantly the innies are always saying, like, we just want to see what the sky looks like. Like they don't even know what the sky looks like,
Oh, and then we
right?
discovered the really freaky thing about is the art.
The art is all from that time period, you guys, 1815. I kid you not.
We like
And
had a stroke when we run up on
there's
that one.
there's this one painting specifically, like in the part where she's finally done her job and put together a file or whatever, and this image comes on. It looks like a video game, and it's that painting in that depiction. And then he turns around and he talks because it's the founder of the cult, pharmacy company. It was like the exact. I was like, "Oh." But in Silo, right? In Silo, you guys, they're in this silo for 140 years, but this silo is really 350 years old. So it's older than when they've been in there. There have been two generations that have no idea what happened, why they are in there, and why it isn't safe. There is only one individual per silo that is allowed to even have access or knowledge or any communication to the actual AI being that is running all of this. And they still don't know what happened. It is so compartmentalized. But the whole thing is everything is about what you see isn't real. The video that they're showing you in the helmet, that's not real. The video that they're showing in the cafeteria or whatever, that's not real. None of it is real. Because what is it? And I don't mean to be a spoiler alert, but this is really important for this topic. Okay, so spoiler alert. It's nanites. In the storyline, nanites, so nanite technology literally takes over everything, destroys stuff, but then literally visually gives you a holographic visual of what's in front of you, even though that's not real. So none of it is real. The sky isn't real. None of it is real because it's nanites giving you the holographic visual of that's what that is. And this is where I am going with this black goo being like put out in the stratosphere in these mud floods. Because guess what, guys? It is very, very possible our sky is not real. It has not been the same sky that has been around, and we are silo straight up. And
Which is
these
crazy.
chemtrails are either just maintaining or upgrading or something with these nanites, which explains so much about these Mandela effects, right? And how things can just visually change like that. There was this one video of this guy with the Berenstein Bears thing. He's going into different rooms and it's changing right in front of your face. How can you do that? Nanites.
Yep. I actually seen one this morning of a guy, and there was something going on his way to work. There was something going on, and he had taken a video of something going on the sidewalk and the house in the background. It's evidently a house that's been there for years. You know what I mean? And when he come home, he noticed that the porch looked different. And he looked at it and he's like, no, something's different. And he took a picture of it. And he went home and looked at the video, and it had a completely different porch on it in the afternoon than it did in the morning.
Yep.
Now, whether that was something AI or not, but he sounded pretty convicted in his voice. And there were comments that led to, like, he might be telling the truth. But this same time, you don't know with what you're looking at. You gotta really dig deep.
Well, here, right? Like Truth Co-op Diana. You know what I'm talking about. Like I took some video a little while ago in the sky and I showed Roxy and she's like, oh my gosh, Diana has footage of the same kind of stuff. And what I found to be very strange about this particular stuff that I caught was like you could see these black bubbles or something just appear and start interacting and shaping and morphing the star or planet or whatever it's supposed to be and popping in and out and manipulating it like black goo is just like like transforming stuff in front of your eyes popping in and out of existence.
What is
And
the
I'm like,
movie?
what?
What is the movie with Tom Hardy in it? Venom. It was
Yep.
also in Spider-Man too. Remember in Dark Spider-Man? And
Mm-hmm.
the only way to get the venom off of Spider-Man was when he rung the bell.
Which reminds me of that thing that's in Greenland that rings like a bell when activated.
It causes all of the See, there's a whole nother rabbit hole, Shannon. Whole nother rabbit hole.
Yep. See, the black goo, right? There's stuff that they say that comes from whatever, a meteor that came in, supposedly. And then there's stuff that is from this planet. Well, I mean, we've talked about this many times, but I my belief is that this black goo is like the blood from the Nephilim, from the ones that got mud fossilized, and and maybe even the whatever. But it is sentient. It literally is what AI and nanotechnology originally is. This is the ancient real deal form, you guys.
Well, it's kind of like the salt, in the Himalayan mountains, that is the actual bones and tendons and of giants from Enoch, the children of Nephilim. Because remember, somebody killed one of them with a rock right between the eyes. They clearly told us that in Bible school, but they neglected the part that the giant was real. Because as a child, when you think of he killed a giant, I'm just thinking he's killed somebody just maybe a foot or two taller than him. I never thought about the concept of a 20 or 30-foot man that was, a giant that could just crush. He was grape ape. I mean, he was huge.
I mean, I had it. I had something good. Darn it. Oh, okay. Right. We could see the firmament. It takes a couple of generations to wipe out a memory, especially of course if you got a bunch of these people in asylums.
And stole all their kids and put them on trains and called them Cabbage Patch Kids.
You
Dun,
know what
dun,
I'm
dun,
saying?
dun. See,
But
folks, all the puzzle pieces are there.
right, where was I going with this? I just had
Mental
it. I keep
asylums.
doing, but before that, I was going
Wiping,
somewhere.
wiping the memory out through generations.
Right. So it only takes so many generations to do that. If we could see the firmament, we would know that this outer space thing and these aliens that are extraterrestrial from other planets and all of that stuff, we would know that's not true because we could see that firmament. You needed several generations to mask that, to get whatever it is in their agenda going. And if you recall, Aleister Crowley, who was born in the late 1800s, when he goes to the pyramids and he channels that Aiwas or whatever, he says we were called demons now, but someday we will be called something else. We have already been in the optical illusion. We already have a holographic sky. Nothing we see is real, but the Most High still has control. And a part of me feels that this veil, because it's a veil, is disintegrating. They're having problems with it. I honestly feel this chemtrail nonsense is really just trying to maintain it and like keep it going to so they can pull off their stupid show.
Well, we it, there are very few people out there who are not explaining to the fact that everybody, whatever this show is they're going to put on, that it's demons. Like, we go back and read
100%.
Enoch, it's 100%. And if you go back and it talks about um when Jesus comes back, he ain't coming back riding a donkey. He's on a white horse. And if
That's
you
right.
don't know culturally what that means, if someone is coming and they're riding a donkey, it means they're coming in peace. If they come in riding a horse, they're looking for war. He
That's right.
comes back in a robe with blood on it, with fire in his eyes and a sword in his mouth,
Correct.
on a white horse for war. He ain't coming back patting heads and saying it's going to be okay this time. He's coming back and hell's coming with him because he's going to fix this. And that's how he's coming back. This volcano going off at the same time, we're talking about Napoleon, the War of 1812. At that time, a bushel of corn was $3. We're talking about 1815, folks. The current price today, Shannon and I looked it up, is $4.54. It is hard to even imagine what happened in 1815 around this country. Every country on the earth,
The earth.
on the planet, everywhere was having a bad day for like years. The financial crash of 1819 is directly contributed to this because the farming was so bad in the northeast of America that those people had lost everything. They had loans at the bank. The dirt was useless because it was too cold there. They packed up and left farms and handed them back to the bank. They went west toward Ohio and across the mountains trying to find warm land that they could grow food in. Then the banks went belly up. It was like a constant, snowball effect across the planet, the world. Like everybody felt the effects of this. Russia didn't take it too bad, but everybody else did for years. And if you thought that this was some kind of divine intervention from God, like Sodom and Gomorrah kind of stuff, and then you managed for the next years to disguise and subdue all of this information from mass population, it's crazy. Like this was a major event in the world history.
One of the most major world events ever. And we weren't taught about it. I can't even believe that I had to find this out through a stupid fable.
It's
Just like,
crazy. Go look into it, guys. I mean, we want y'all to go look into it. Go look at Google Earth and look at the pictures inside of that crater. You'll see that these guys, to get up there to where that crater's at, they take off in Land Rovers, and you see the pictures of where they drive and drive and drive. Then they get off on dirt bikes and they go and go and go. And then they hike up to the edge of this crater. And you got to realize that was a solid mass, 5,000 foot tall, and it blew. It had rumbled for what, 3 or 4 years prior to the explosion. It killed everybody
I know I can't see
in the
comments,
area.
but who out there has heard of this? Like who? Have
Anybody
any
had
of
to,
you?
yeah,
I
Mount
mean,
Tambora.
if you have, awesome. And how? you know? But this
Oh,
is like,
one more thing that was invented in 1815, the first smallpox vaccine. And the
yeah,
current medical technology of the day, they didn't have anesthesia. They used liquor, and they used, what do you call it? Where they mixed the opium and the alcohol, laudanum,
laudanum,
and
and
bloodletting. That's how they thought they cured things, was putting leeches on you or cutting a vein open and let you bleed out a little while.
didn't they have the thing that you put over that you huff when
No,
you're
ether,
getting an
uh,
ether?
what is it? Chloroform. No, it had not been invented yet.
Ah, well, okay, again, and I know I brought this up earlier, but I'm like, you can tell I'm super pumped. Okay, I gotta remind you that sulfur dioxide is used in nanotechnology and how to help to spread it and also to help boost up energy and kick it
It's
into
nanite
gear.
gas.
It's
It's nanite
nanite
gas.
gas.
Yeah, it's the go-go juice.
And
The
that's
go-go
what
juice.
helps to bring
Go.
it everywhere and hang out in the stratosphere and just chilling, man. It's still chilling. They're spraying up to keep it chilling. It's
Well,
not
and
just about poisoning us, it's about maintaining the illusion.
well, when you think about this as divine intervention, I've watched a lot of these period dramas, and I realized as I was going through this, one of those and that I actually watched, I think it's called Catherine the Great. It was Russian, but anyway, before this event happens, sexual perversion. Like these period dramas show you what it was like in these huge castles at that time. You had some czar and his wife, or a king and his wife, and all of their friends and buddies were senators or whatever was in their government at that time, and their spouse and their children. They all lived in the castle with the king. That's why the king had 2,000 servants, because everybody who was in his government was there with him. You couldn't live across the countryside on your estate and it take 2 days to get there by horseback if somebody was attacking at the harbor. You needed your people around you. So the castle was like Camp David. Like everybody coming, everybody you expected. This is where you live now when you got elected. But these people would get bored, like, they could send news to the front line, it could take a month to come back. So they were dressed up fancy, having dinner parties every night, which led to full-on group wrestling. And for anybody in the crowd that don't know what we use the word wrestling for, we try to make this kid friendly. So you figure it out. But these people had nothing else to do except depraved wrestling activities. Like, King James was late 1600s, early 1700s. If you don't know what he was doing, figure out why he beheaded his own mama, because she spoke out about his depravity with people of the same sex and his bestiality. He wrote 2 books on demonology. This is the man that edited the Bible that we've been reading our whole life.
Yep.
Yep, Frankenstein
And
was written in darkness and gloom. Yeah.
that's correct. And again, I have to say this. This is very vital to this and why this story is such a big deal and it being written in this time, because it is called the New Prometheus. And what is that, right? The whole Prometheus nonsense. It's the story of seeding humanity through aliens. So aliens were the ones who created us, not God. That's the Prometheus whole standpoint. I mean, the film Prometheus, which all goes into the whole aliens storyline, that is literally all about that and creating a new race and all of that stuff. So it's important that you know that it's Frankenstein, but the title underneath states it's the new Prometheus. And they were obsessed. And again, Frankenstein is like a golem. Frankenstein is a golem. But from what? From dead flesh put together.
Gross.
This is right. So that is the new Prometheus, you guys. You see where I'm going with this? So, this whole time period, it's like this was the start of things. And obviously these people, cuz what, remember, right? You said that the some of these brotherhoods that we know now today were
Mm-hmm.
established during that time through Alexander the First in Russia.
Yeah, secret societies were formed.
Secret societies. I mean, we had the Illuminati, which was 17 something, but we're talking, I mean, the Masons have been around, but I'm talking like the established, like we're now establishing and being in political arenas for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and in 1812 and right before that, you got all the Napoleon stuff going on. So you got everybody fighting everybody. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the French and the Russians, and this one's fighting this one, and when this one leaves to go over here and attack this one, somebody else then comes attacks his empty house. And this chess game was going on right prior to all this shaking starting.
Mm-hmm. Beethoven and Mozart were also here during this time. And what I find to be interesting, because, right, Mozart, he was forced to play for royalty all his life by his father. You know what I mean? So he
Mm-hmm.
was forced into aristocracy without actually really being considered one of them.
And imagine being a fly on the wall hearing all of that going on.
Right. So now think of Requiem, one of his most masterful pieces of all time that was written before he died, as he is dying, that has to be finished by his nemesis. Funny enough. But Requiem, I mean, we're always told it's about his father. No, it's about this whole time period, the death of the sky they knew, the death of the world they knew. You really look into it and you're like, dang, it's been in our face through art and politics and everything. But yet we have still not been like told, hey, this event happened. And this
Yeah,
is why stuff happened.
go look at famous paintings from 1815. Go look at when you're looking at a time period to try to get a visualization of what life was like then and what this would have been, because it's not like they had Google. I mean, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose and you can't see no more and everything's brown and it's raining mud and there's rocks flying everywhere. You would think the sky was falling.
This is the height of romanticism art.
Yes.
And they called it that because of all the rich darkness that's painted in everything. But it's what it was showing. I mean, there's this one artist, he wasn't the German one, but he was in either from France or the UK. But he painted these landscapes and sunsets that were literally like almost neon green and yellow and red. It turned the sky red for a very long time. The sun was like nothing you'd ever seen from the descriptions that we've looked up, which is interesting because you look at the sun now and it's like, I
Well,
have
and you
many
got to,
pictures of it being this weird color that I can't explain, but
well, and think about back then. I mean, it's not like you had information that was, all right, let's say 1815. Let's just say the distance between you and I, we would have never met, but we would
yeah,
never have any way to communicate.
yeah,
And
except for painting.
I don't know that anywhere else in the world, this sky that I'm seeing and the mud rain that's coming down and critters just freezing in midair. If it can freeze a bird in midair, imagine what it could do to humans. Like, there are no real numbers on how many people die after this. This thing went off in April of 1815. July of 1816, it's still being reported as brown ash clouds in the air over America. June, on June 6th of 1816, 666, is the day that it's recorded that birds froze to death mid-flight in Northwest America. A year and what, April, May, June, July, a year and a couple of months after this explosion, there's still that much atmospheric issues going on.
I
But it
gotta
wasn't
say,
important in high school.
I gotta say this. This blows the lid off of the psyop that is going around with Tartaria being the millennial reign. I have to say this. This is something that has been bothering me. I don't know for a fact if the millennial reign happened or not. For a fact, but in my heart of hearts, that has not been a thing yet. Okay. But in this particular situation, because there's a psyop that they are putting on this. There's a reason why they have thrown it in our face and said, hey, this existed, but without giving you information on any of it. So you could just whatever. There's been a lot of push on, well, this was probably the millennial reign, that's why all these people were put in asylums and all these things and blah blah blah. No, it was this volcano. Okay, this is what changed this time period in this event. So I mean, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers. I don't know if any of you are on that page, but I just have to say that out loud, that this blows
Well,
the lid off of that.
and I noticed in the newspaper articles and stuff that I was reading, like directly preceding the event. And guys, I went and looked at newspapers from Russia, from North America, Europe, Germany, Switzerland, everywhere, Indonesia, anywhere I could find online that had any kind of archived newspaper articles or, small books or whatever from that time period. I went and read them. I wanted to see what their culture, what they were saying, what was the weather like, what were their crop prices. Crop
Right.
prices tell you a lot about an economy. But it just, I think all of these newspapers were basically saying that they thought it was, something divine from God, that God was punishing them, like, Sodom and Gomorrah, that kind of thing. That it had to be a divine thing because these people aren't talking with each other and they have no idea it's a volcano in Indonesia that erupted.
I mean,
So
it still is, in a sense, a divine
oh,
thing,
absolutely.
you
But
know?
well, now you got to realize the people in control have been saying this in the newspapers that it's a divine thing. And then all of a sudden, toward the end of the 1800s, they then figure out it was a volcano that went off. So then they feel like they think, oh, it was an actual physical event. We look like dumbasses because we said it was a holy divine event. So we're just going to let you forget it. And if you won't forget it, here's the place we're going to put you in and take your kids.
Well, right away, remember, right away, these children were already like threatened. Like, you cannot speak about this. Do
Hmm.
not talk about how the sky used to be. Do not talk about these things. Why? Why were they put in asylums?
Oh,
Because,
these
again,
fools that's been collecting our taxes have been lying for way too
right,
long. Devil,
because
you are a liar.
our sky is not real. What we see is not what it is. It is the
Welcome to the Sam
veil.
Show.
That, I'm sorry, that just blew me my whole life. I've never seen the real sky.
I don't think a
Oh,
lot of us have
dear.
seen the real things. And even if
Oh,
we saw the
dear.
real things, they lied to us. And this is something else that struck me about this whole dragon conversation. We're about to chase squirrels, guys. We're not going to beat you to death on this because we still got more research to do. We are by no means
Yeah,
done.
not even close.
We got this puzzle spread out, baby, everywhere. And we taking pieces out our pockets.
What was it? I feel us another spreadsheet coming on.
I feel a spreadsheet coming on. We
Yeah,
done got one built. We're on
yeah.
tab 4 at the moment. Um, that's how we do it, guys. We do who, what, where, when, why, and how, and then we go back and look at newspapers, culture, religion, people, technology, art, authors, musicians. We look at
Everything.
everything about a time period to put something together, and that's what we've done for a couple of days. But dragons, why are they hiding dragons? Why? Why are you so determined to hide the dragons? Every other animal in the Chinese zodiac is real except for the dragon.
Please.
I call Bull Dookie.
Bolduki.
There you go, Bull Dookie. Because I'm not going to say the S word. People might not like it.
I
It's
mean, you could
shooting
just say
Shinola is what
BS,
it is.
but
Huh?
I mean, you could just say BS, but
Yeah. It's a turd. It's a big old floating Snickers bar of turd in the community swimming pool.
well, you know, Silo again. I'm bringing this back up, and again, Apple TV. Who owns that?
Has been saying some serious turds
They're
out loud.
they're doing it right. I mean, they have to by their own rules, right? But the whole thing is like how compartmentalized everything is. How much like everything like there's been so many rebellions over and over again because at some point people start to realize they're being lied to, and it doesn't matter how much like when they think they figured out the lie, it's actually even more of a lie going down that train too. That it's just like constant. Like no one actually even knows the truth because they are being manipulated by this AI that's running everything, that has controlled the nanites. Even if you get out, they find a way to make sure you don't live to see things. It's a constant compartmentalization, constant. You rebel, we're going to distract you and put you back in your place again. And within any means necessary, we will hire people to rabble rouse the way we want you to look this way. We're going to cause this illusion to happen so you think this, so you're not going to question this illusion.
You mean the
It,
illusion's like two buildings falling? Would you go that far? Oh my gosh. Say it ain't so, Shannon. I like that look on your face, boo boo.
oh, and again, the imaginary plane that no one saw and
Oh
whatever.
my
Look,
gosh.
I'm just saying,
Just
okay, you
saying.
guys, it's been this is so insane. I know it sounds insane. I know. Even just saying it out loud that the sky is not real. And I feel like Chicken Little. The sky is falling, but it's not real. Oh, and that's another thing. In the full length feature film that Disney does of Chicken Little, you know what causes the sky to fall?
Uh-uh.
Alien.
Really?
It's alien.
Aliens did it. Gosh.
And they are the sky. They're cloaked and they're showing a fake sky.
Imagine that. Get your popcorn, folks. The show is coming. The show is coming. Get your popcorn out. The White House actually put out a video yesterday of someone in a hoodie. You can tell it was an AI video. Is walking through a mud puddle, walks up to the White House, and is walking down the hall where he's got all those pictures, and then Joe Biden's auto pen photo, like of each president. Um, and it says, "Okay, everybody, silence your phones. Get your popcorn." Like they're telling you it's a movie.
Just letting you know, right? Like, remember how this last year we've been getting all this every now and then, this little tidbit of a video of like how we're supposed to lose gravity for 7 seconds
You
in
mean
six
Project
days?
Anchor?
Project Anchor, right? Well, guess what's happening on that day, you guys? We've got a solar eclipse, we've got a meteor shower, and 6 planets aligning in syzygy. And it reminds me of how they were pushing this whole thing with Jupiter rising back when I was born, telling people that the gravity was going to be messed up, there was going to be earthquakes and all this stuff going on. It's like a whole new thing, but yet they're not. It's like they put out the information and they're like,
now, Shannon,
"Ugh."
now Shannon, I went and researched all that stuff today. About
Mhm.
us losing gravity and everything. And that most trusted organization of NASA says that is a hoax.
Of course it does.
It's a
But
hoax.
where did the $89 million go
Oh,
that
they
she
said
put
they
in
never
this
had $89
project?
million. There's no such thing as Project Anchor.
Oh,
What are you
really?
talking
So
about?
that document that was on your website isn't real then? Okay. See what I'm saying?
Bernstein Bears, Bernstein Bears.
Okay, right. The Mandela effect is starting to reverse in some situations,
Mm-hmm.
and
Chick fil
in
A's
real
got the K
time.
back. Chick fil A has
And
the K back.
there was a tennis match where a ball in real time in front of everyone flew through the net, stopped the game. They had to like go back and rewind together in real time to be like, did that really just fly through the net? It just went through. And it did. And everyone is like, what? Nanites. Black goo.
Well,
Chemtrails. That's all what it is.
Lord have mercy. If y'all didn't think that we was a little out there to begin with, you probably think we are Fruit Looping it now, boo boos. Puff, puff, pass.
This world is already Fruit Looped. I don't know, man. I mean, what else can you do? What
And
other
listen,
conclusion?
before we come to y'all with this information, we actually talk to each other and like, how crazy are they gonna think we are? And then we go down like 27 other places to verify this information because we feel crazy that the first three had the same information. We're like, no way.
No
This
way.
is the whole reason we do the whole book, music, art thing. Because you got funky paintings coming out and funky music and funky books, there was something funky monkey going on. The math ain't mathing. And then when the
Dude,
math don't math, they slap them in insane asylums.
those paintings in Severance. I can't. That literally just that did it. That did it. That did it. I was like, no. I need to take a walk.
If you've seen Severance, you understand the weird, like, they have a whole art department in this weird show. And when we went, the first page we pulled up of art from 1815, 1816 were those creepy ass paintings from that show. It was a lot. If y'all have not watched Silo on Apple TV, go watch it. Go watch it. It's good. Whether you want to believe in all the things in there or not, watch The Water, which was on Tuesday night's episode of our show. Go watch it. I'm not promoting Apple TV. We don't make a blooming penny off of that nor this. We make nothing.
Well, and I would like to mention that this water, right? Think about how much nanotechnology is being put in our foods and in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So what's vitamin B
Have you
plus,
seen the
guys?
Gatorade that catches on fire?
No, but that doesn't surprise.
It was shared with me today. It looked like it might have been up in Brooklyn or somewhere like that. I'm not sure where it was. It looked more like a bigger urban city, but there are a bunch of guys, and it's an older man. I say older, he's our age, and he's out there with these younger, late teens, early 20 kids, and he's like, y'all got to stop drinking this Gatorade. It's like, no, dude, we like our Gatorade. He's like, watch this. He poured the Gatorade out on dirt and lit it with a lighter, and it looked like gasoline. They're like, oh man, you had gasoline mixed in that bottle. He said, hand me your Gatorade. He took the kids' Gatorade, popped the seal, poured it out, and lit it on fire. Like you could start a campfire with Gatorade. It ain't quenching no thirst because it's gasoline. Oh gosh, I went with Daniel. Daniel was in the truck with me if he's still in the room. We left his house Tuesday and we were headed south. And we stopped at this little store. I wanted a cold Mountain Dew. Well, I went in and in the cabinet there, the case at the store, it's got all these Mountain Dews, had a white lid on it. Me thinking in my OCD spreadsheet brain, I'm like, why has it got a white lid? I'm like, must be inventory rotation because they're wanting to mark old inventory with the green lids versus the new one with the white lids. I'm thinking all inventory control on it. I got this bad boy back to my truck and popped the top on my cold Mountain Dew because I had me a Red Bull too. I ain't gonna lie, it was watermelon Red Bull and it was good. And Daniel says I drive like Ricky Bobby after a Red Bull, but I took a sip of this Mountain Dew and nearly spit it on my windshield. I'm driving like 65 miles an hour, Ricky Bobby style down the road and like hold this Mountain Dew out in front of me. It said Puerto Rico on the front of it. It tasted like water and chemicals. It had no Mountain Dew flavor, no fizz to it, no nothing. I still got it in my truck. I'll have to take a picture of it and post it. Like right where it said Mountain Dew, it said Puerto Rico. So is it fake Mountain Dew or are y'all actually spending the money to import Mountain Dew from Puerto Rico? Because I'm telling you, that Puerto Rican Mountain Dew tasted like the Mexican Oreos I ate one time on a cruise. It's not good. It's like pure chemicals.
Yeah, I'd like to openly call for prayers right now for the family of Joe. What's his last name?
Fails.
Felix Fells.
We did
And
it at the beginning.
right. Well, I'm bringing it up again. Sorry, I wasn't here. And also Perez Hilton, and also Pedro V, and whoever else who is out there wrestling with their spiritual stuff and being targeted on that subject
Heavily.
matter. We all got to start praying for each other out here in these platforms, you guys, because, you know, things are getting to the point to where it's getting more and more dangerous. And we literally are putting our lives out on the line, coming out here talking about these things in public. And I wanted to mention something. You know how we were kicked off of the TikTok live that a few shows back ago
Hmm.
for saying whatever we
I
said
was
that
trying to interrupt the
that's
election process, it said.
right.
Because I
Did
said
you know
Graham was a pedo.
did you know that the TikTok live that Perez Hilton was doing did not get shut off until 30 minutes into it? Enough to see the absolute horror. The man was not wearing clothes, covered in blood. I mean, it was absolutely horrific. And this was still on for a good 30 minutes. But yet they shut us down for saying something about Lindsey Graham.
Hmm.
So
I
you
watched a
just
woman
know.
this morning who said, she said, go on there and search. She said, ask the question, where you can search for types of video. Why are women the problem? She said there was pages and pages and pages of it. If you go back up to the search bar and you searched why are men the problem, it gave you that was against community guidelines, that was hate speech. Hmm.
I
It's a
just,
two-sided sword, guys. It all
yeah,
depends on who you are. And
and
I
what they
mean,
want you to see. They wanted that out there,
oh
you
yeah.
know? But that's what I'm saying is, when you see these things happening and obviously targeted, even ones who aren't even of Jesus, but we're trying to, may have even come to them, like David Wilcock. There are, when we come out here talking, and we are not afraid, by the way. But I just think it's important that we continue to pray for each other on all of these platforms. Whether or not you think they're a shell or not doesn't matter. We need to pray for them because the battle is on, and we're going to start seeing a lot more people on these platforms in weird precarious situations. And so we just got to keep on our toes and keep up our prayers for everybody and our audience members too, because just even having our videos up on your feed could probably be a thing. You don't know. I'm just
Make
saying,
sure if you're
let's
not
put this all on
subscribed to
prayers.
both, make sure you're subscribed to Children of the Most High and the Roxy Files. Because if they do take one channel down, we'll have the other as a backup. We don't doubt that might happen at some point with it.
Joe was about to publicly release a lot of very important information for free. And I really pray that they continue on with that work. But ha- the fact of the matter of speaking truth, how much they're willing to take you out, just like in Silo, you know? Okay,
Hmm.
we'll just take you out. Guess we gotta, even the judge, man, she wasn't even safe. You,
Yep.
you just, we gotta keep our prayers out for our community, and pray for those who are maybe misinformed or paid shills, that they come to Jesus and repent for that. But we all gotta realize we're here to pray for each other, uplift each other, and keep watch, and why we expose, because it's a thing. And you're seeing it more and more now in your face. And we're going to see a lot more of it.
Have you noticed how much it's intensified since I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth happened? Like the people getting real loud and getting real pissed off, and everybody saying what they've been wanting to say. And there's a whole lot of I told you so's going on. But we don't need to try to live in that I told you so. We
No.
knew so.
No.
And it's not going to serve any purpose.
It served no purpose.
No, we knew, but that's because we were awake and they weren't. This has awakened some of them, and may they pray for forgiveness of everything that was involved with that. But there were monsters perpetrating this.
I just, I know we've been kind of serious today, but we've had this. I haven't been mind blown like this in a minute, and I just am like,
It
I
filled in
have
the
to
whole
tell the
gap.
world. I have to tell the world the math finally mathed. It finally mathed for once.
We got to take like 4 buckets of puzzle pieces, mix them all up together. And it's like one of those moments when it all was like, oh my goodness.
And again, we are nowhere near done on this journey in any way, shape, or form. But just even right now, I'm like,
yeah, go look it up, guys. I'm sorry we couldn't do the presentation tonight because there's a whole spreadsheet and like multiple tabs and some beautiful photos of artwork and the actual crater. And yeah, see, had all that laid out. Been working on it all day, and the internet don't want to work right. Maybe it was so you go look at it.
This morning, as we were going over stuff, it cut us out. She was cutting her out like every time she was trying to say something important. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, they don't even want us talking to each other. It's like, oh no, they're putting too many puzzle pieces together. No.
Well, guys,
whose idea was it to make them friends?
Yeah, whose bright idea was this ignorance? The reason we're this many miles apart is because if we lived in the same zip code, there would be trouble. There would be trouble. Yep. He knew it was safer for us to be on opposite sides.
It's just wow. Like, we really live in the earth is the silo. It's like, what? Okay. Sorry. Still
within the
still
silo.
tripping.
Yeah, Shannon and I figured out that there's probably silos within the silos. And do we need to go rescue those people in the silos? And if there are silos, where are said silos? Are those silos up underground? Are they up under the ocean? Because, like, if they've been manipulating us all these years, how many little secular side civilizations have they got going on over there in the silo somewhere?
We could see the firmament before. We could see it. This is huge. How else can you dupe an entire world into thinking there's aliens in outer space if you can see the firmament? The most controversial subject matter in the Bible is not the existence of Jesus Christ. It is the existence of the firmament, you guys.
It tells you straight off the gate that it's there. And also think about this. We were talking about this the other day. On the first day, God said, let there be light. That was day 1. On day 3, I think it is, he created the sun and the moon. So what was the light on day 1? Let there be light. What was that light? Go back and read your Bible. Think about it a little differently, because I know myself. I was not a big Bible reader. But even in the beginning when I started reading it, day 1, he made light. Day 2, he made this. Day 3, he made that. And I kept right on reading. I never slowed down and thought about that fact that Let there be light, and he don't create the sun and moon and stars and stuff until later. What was the light? What was I mean, there's lots of questions. Go back, question everything. Question everything. Question everybody. Everything. Everything. Everything, everywhere, everybody. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
I don't know if you guys are as mind blown as we are today, but there was a volcano eruption that we didn't know anything about. What in the heck, man? I mean,
That turned the whole planet into an ice cube
you would
for a
think that'd
year.
be something in history we would be told. No, no. Wipes out an entire uh language, an entire people with their language. It's wild.
And pretty much wiped out massive portions of populations on all the other continents except Russia. And so at that time, Russia was acquiring more political power while everybody else was starving and the animals were dying.
This created the Matrix sky, you guys.
Hmm. It's wild.
I can't look at the sky the same. I prayed so hard yesterday. Lord Jesus, if this is real, if there is something to this, if and I'm not crazy, that I literally heard you correctly, please give me some tangible evidence, something, some kind of confirmation. And it didn't even hit me that I got this confirmation until like hours later. But on my way home, there was a literal heart in the clouds in the sky. A heart. I've seen lots of weird things, but a literal heart. I took pictures, I have proof. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, thanks, Jesus, for the heart in the sky. I really needed that because I'm having a terrible day. And then I was like, that was a heart in the cloud. What? And then I was like talking to Roxy. I was like, oh my God, that was my confirmation. I
We got
might
that with the
be seeing it.
79 pounds of facts and information about a disaster. I guess they thought it was unimportant to us to know this part of our history as to why some of our ancestors probably rotted away in mental institutions and our blood kin was probably put on a train and orphaned off somewhere because either their family died of famine, starvation, or a
There,
horrible economy collapse.
there is still a chance to me, though. I'm still on the fence with these children were literally just displaced children or literal the start and beginning of NPCs.
Well, and what year was it of the Chicago Fair? Remind me. 1860.
Eight. It was like mid to later 1800s. I don't know the exact date, but
Mm,
they had the incubator babies and they charged people for it and all of that. They were supposedly preemies, but the whole thing just seems
1893.
really weird. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much information that I've looked into about the Cabbage Patch Kids. And, like, there's literal writings and things out there that speak of them actually growing these children. It's really weird. And then like in the 80s we had that whole thing with the Cabbage Patch Kids. Like we all had to have
Hmm.
one and they came with a name and a birth certificate and everything.
And
You know
somebody
what?
named Xavier signed their rump.
Exactly. Which is weird in itself, but
Yeah, if
whatever.
you're selling a baby doll, why would you tattoo its ass with Xavier, whatever its name is? I still have my Cabbage Patch somewhere and her birth certificate. Thank you very much. And she still smells just like my strawberry shortcake doll. My mom didn't let me play with my toys. She wrapped them in saran wrap and put them in top of the closet and gave them to me as a 40-year-old adult. Thanks, Mom. Thanks.
Yay. Thanks. That's nice.
Thanks. I had so much fun with those toys that were Christmas presents that you then took from me and put in your china cabinet. I don't think those Barbies were for me. I think they were
Is
for you.
is this a Clayton thing? I can't read. I'm sorry, I can't read
Clayton
chat.
says, hang on. Clayton says spectral energy electromagnetic spectrum equals light in all of its form in their jargon.
Well, I knew he would have an answer.
I keep forgetting you can't see comments over there.
I can't
Snowballs in
read
the room.
anything. Yes, I'm not trying to be rude, guys. Hi. I, if you're
She
in
can't
there,
see nothing over
I
there.
can't see. I'm on my phone.
She's on her phone and I'm working on a half broken internet over here.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, the Chicago Fair was late 1800s. 46 nations participated in a global exchange. The World Parliament of Religion, um, first documented, first documented serial killer about that time.
Interesting. Jack
Yeah,
the Ripper,
no, H. Holmes, American
which
serial killer.
actually is a lot of people speculate could have been the Jack the Ripper in London
True
as
that.
well.
True that. I have
So
heard that.
it's very possible it could be, but whatever. We all know that was actually some other stuff. If you guys have ever seen From Hell, you should watch it. It gives you a very good insight on the real truth behind the Jack the Ripper tale. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not like it gives you the full truth, but it aligns with where it really stemmed from.
Yeah.
All these things are rituals. Just saying. But what?
Has anybody ever, which I know we've seen some of them, have you really ever went and looked in depth at some of these pictures from that World Fair?
I did a while back ago, but it's
Um,
been a minute.
the Ferris wheel that they built for this thing is bigger than any Ferris wheel we have right now. Like
Hmm.
each little, you got a buggy or a cart that you get in on that Ferris wheel. It was like 6 people wide. It wasn't this little two-person thing that you get in at the amusement park. This
Dang.
sapsucker was huge. And like they constructed this whole city in no time that they then supposedly destroyed and then everything catches on fire. Like that don't make any
And
sense
it's
in
the
and of itself.
fires again, are the fires again to destroy more evidence of
Hmm.
what had happened in 1815. And it's, that volcano started to erupt in 1812. For
Yeah.
3 years, it was
Rumbling.
smoking, which again, 1812 is when good old Napoleon gets exiled. And then he comes back in 1815 for 100 days and then gets defeated in Waterloo. Is it
And
real?
right
Is that
after the
real?
Waterloo fight is when the top blew off of that mountain, that tree stump. Excuse me, tree stump. Let's be anatomically correct in this conversation. The tree stump went
Yeah.
kaboom, and it blew chunks everywhere, and it rained
And
mud, and it froze birds in mid-flight, and people migrated to whole different countries trying to survive. And
change
grain
the
and corn
sky.
in
Change.
1815 was actually almost as much as it is today. It was such a scarcity, but they didn't feel the need to tell us about all of this or what an important part of our history. Not that the information's not out there on the internet now, but
Right.
in we're pre-Google generations. I am. Like when I was going through school, there weren't no internet. You had a DOS machine. You stuck in a floppy disk. If you don't know what a floppy disk is, it was floppy, like baloney.
Right. So, I mean, the little tiny bit of this comment I can read is H. Holmes was BS made up story. Again, see, this goes along with what I'm trying to say about Jack the Ripper is we're looking at a ritual within these brotherhoods They're ritual things. All of these serial killers that are deemed serial killers, you guys, it is more than that. It is ritual purpose. There's more people involved. It's the sons of Sam, not the son of Sam. So these characters
Or cover up.
are cover up for the real ritual purpose within these covens and brotherhoods and things.
Well, think about the fact if you're in one of these, whatever you want to call them, organizations,
Yeah,
and
it started in 1815. Okay, I'm sorry.
ain't it? And and part of your thing you had to do was to, we'll say it as politely as possible, you had to ixnay a girl that had never been wrestled with before. Like tossing the unwrestled girl in the volcano kind of sacrifice. So, if you're doing this on a regular basis for magical purposes to gain energy, and you have lots of said unalived, non wrestled young ladies that you need to dispose of, well, when the bodies start and they're all looking like they were killed the same way, they probably
Well, these
were.
these were particular. These were very wrestled with women. This
I'm
was
not
the
saying that
opposite.
these were. I'm just saying in
Oh,
general. A
I
lot
was
of
like,
times those organizations like to sacrifice unwrestled women, in the volcano. Anyway, they're
well,
they're
this is
sacrificing through sex magic.
that, and that's also the story of the Hunger Games, guys, which is just another version of the short story of the lottery, which is just another version of the story of whatever since the beginning of all this nonsense. It is ritual sacrifice.
They
Of
all
any
trying to get.
sense.
They're trying to take the shortcut. That's what it is. They all trying to take the dang shortcut. They ain't wanting to work for it.
We could
Lazy asses.
we could see the firmament. You know how upset I am. I want to see the firmament. I want to see
Well,
it with my eyeballs.
go on TikTok and look up "hot air balloon hits firmament."
Okay.
I've seen
I
that
see the
video
rock
several
one.
times, and I think if that's what it looks like, that's probably real. I don't know if it's AI, but that's what I like to keep in my mind that it looks like.
There are so many movies and TV shows that have come out in the last 15 or so years, maybe even more, that are showing you that the sky isn't real. The three body problem, the Truman Show, I mean, I could just go on and on for days. And like I've said before, there have been times in my life where I could see like this faint, glowing, like indigo violet grid pattern that looks like laser lights in the atmosphere in the sky. And I've always wondered, what in the heck is that? Am I hallucinating? I mean, for a while, it got really strong when I was really into the new age thing. But I was also really working on, cleansing. I was vegan, raw food. Like I went hardcore into it. And then for a while after everything, it just kind of faded. And now that I am just like in it to win it for Jesus forever and never, I'm starting to see it again. It's like visible to my eyeballs, my naked eyeballs. Like there's a grid. It's there. We are not
Well,
seeing
at this point, you
reality.
better trust your eyeballs more than you do them stupid cameras on them phones, because it ain't taking pictures of what we seeing.
No.
Shannon and I have had incidences where, like, we on FaceTime, and I be flipping it around. I be like, "Do you see this?" You be like, "No, I don't see that." Girl, I see it, and I ain't that crazy. Well, I am crazy, but anyway, 5150 boo boo.
Apparently, we're all crazy. I mean, I'm the one who just said this guy
Hey,
isn't real, but
ask any
cool.
man out there, or not any man. Most men will tell you a crazy woman is fun. We'll give you a run for your money. Wake up tomorrow and it's like spin the wheel, baby. Which personality we getting today?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know. Again, what are your thoughts, guys? Tell us. Give us some. comments
Go
here.
go look at all this stuff. Go down the rabbit hole and look into this and look in the art and the books and the music and kind of put it all together. And then you kind of get this whole, like buildings half covered in mud with no explanation. And yeah, a lot of stuff starts making sense when you put that
Wow.
volcano in it.
It's fine. Finally, you know how, like, for the last couple years since this has been in my face, I've just been like, how? How was there a mud flood? What in the world could have caused this? Like,
Well,
there was just nothing, nowhere, anywhere information of any kind that I could seem to find to explain this. And now I'm like,
oh, and I forgot about the sliding down the side comment thing that I figured this
"Mhm,
morning. Like, if you go look at Indonesia on a flat Earth map, Antarctica is the ice ring around us. If you go look at maps of Antarctica from, hundreds of years before this, you will see that Antarctica actually had mountains and valleys and rivers. There is a landscape. It's not an ice sheet on that map, it's not a circle. It has topography on these older maps. And this happens, which is kind of close down there in that area because Australia and Antarctica be bumping elbows over there. And all of this went up in the air into the firmament. And if you take it like a snow globe, the firmament's got to come down to the edge of the ice. What did this cataclysmic weather do to that? Is that part of why it froze so much worse? And I don't know. It definitely brings 100 more questions to what we found.
for real." So many more
But
questions.
it's important. Like the war of the world, there's perversion going on. There's technology that starts exploding. Like who sold their soul for this? Something happened, and we had some kind of Sodom and Gomorrah moment there. So something happened, and it was divine.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more divine coming. Keep praying. Keep your instruction manual handy. Keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times, boo boo. Because we ain't got no insurance around here. Ain't no homeowners. You fall down, you on your own.
Just think, okay, guys. I mean, we all know we've been lied to for so long. And it's like every time it just keeps escalating to the big, like, you don't think this lie could get any bigger, but it just did.
Give it a
It
minute.
literally just did. And it's like, again, I know, guys, but the sky isn't real.
It's going to take her a few days to get over this one.
It's really, I just keep thinking to myself and all these things, with these people who are trapped underground, like, I never seen the sky. And here I've thought all my life, oh, the sky's right there. But that's actually not really what it looks like. Oh, okay. So I've never actually seen the sky.
No, you've seen what they wanted us to see. And you are right, Diana. Puff, puff, pass. It is time for us to give y'all a rest to ingest all of this wonderful, insane, postulating, theorizing, trying to what we need to unknow to relearn.
The more you know.
I knew she wanted to do that. That's why I said the word.
Thank you.
You didn't even get Shannon. Wait a minute. Okay, we're
What?
going to play the intro as the outro because Shannon did not get to see our new intro tonight. So we're
Oh, we
going to
have
say
a new
good.
intro?
Well, I took the song and was playing with it today. But I made a little intro. It's a pre-roll. It's a 1 minute. But
It's a
Big
pre-roll.
E, it's a pre-roll. I'm fixing to go roll. That's what I'm fixing to go do, everybody. I'm going on my porch to roll. I'm gonna roll. Been a long day. I've been up for since 5 a.m. this morning. Um, we love y'all. I don't know if we'll be back over the weekend. It all depends on how everybody's schedule works and what other rabbit hole we fall down and we just can't contain ourselves anymore. We gotta tell you about it.
Really? I have a feeling that's going to be the case. I mean, we're already so Yeah.
Girl, I didn't
This
put on my
is,
life jacket. This hole has got so deep, I'm scared we're gonna drown in here.
well, it's like we both have been on this precipice on this subject, like round and around here. And it was like all of a sudden it was like, oh my
It was like that volcano
god.
exploding when it went off.
For real. 'Cause then after I found that out, I was like, what if it wasn't nuclear? What if it was nanite?
Yep. All right,
So
guys, we're gonna leave you with that nanite. We got to get her
Blackie.
calmed down over there. She got to sleep at some point tonight. All right, we love you. I'm gonna roll the intro as the outro, and we will, if at worst, we'll see you again Tuesday. We love you. Say your prayers. Good night.
Good